Hello everyone, this is Rohit Singh again. Welcome to my Azure PowerShell tutorial part 2. In this series we would learn how to provision a new VM from a specific image, unlike last time, wherein when we executed the PowerShell command to set up a new VM, uh, it had set up the VM with the default image, which was Windows 2016 data center version of Microsoft Windows operating system. This time we would see how we can select a specific image based on its availability in that particular region where we are going to set up our virtual machine. Yeah. And before we get into it, let's also look at what all we covered in the part 1 session. Most of the commands we would be reusing again in this. Yeah. So the first thing that we did was to create a new VM, and in that we had used the verb new-az resource group. We had specified the resource group name, which is nothing but a container, and where exactly we would like this container, the resource group, to be set up, and that is the location attribute. Yeah. And then we had stored the credential value in a variable called $cred. You can always name it differently. There is no hard and fast rule of having a $cred all the time. Yeah. And the third step, the most important one, was the actual PowerShell, which will actually uh, provision this particular virtual machine, is starting with the verb new-az VM, and then the resource group name where we would like this to be set up, and then the other attributes like the name of the virtual machine, location, virtual network name, subnet name, security group name, public IP address name, credential, the variable that was stored, the username and password that will get set up for this particular virtual machine, and the important thing, the size. In the last example, we had selected standard B2ms, which is nothing but a 2 virtual CPU and 8 GB RAM. And the cost for it is approximately like 8 hours per VM. 8 rupees per hour. Yeah, I'm talking about Indian rupees. It's 8 rupees per hour in the pay as you go model. And if you go for a reserved instance, reserved instances are generally blocked for a period of 1 year, then there would be a cost reduction by close to some 34%. Well, you can get all the details on Azure pricing calculator. Yes, so that was how we create a new VM. Now, again, if you think this standard B2ms, which is rupees 8 per hour, is too much, let's resize it. I don't need a 2 virtual CPU and an 8 GB RAM. I would be good with just 1 GB, one virtual CPU and 4 GB RAM. And that would also be like 4.6 rupees per hour. Then yeah, we can resize the VM. And how do we do that? We start with uh, first identifying which all sizes are available in that particular region. Yeah, so we have to first identify which all virtual machine sizes are available in that particular location. So we do that assessment with the verb get hyphen azvm size and then the location name. And then now we would also like to confirm that whether the standard B1ms size that we want the VM to be resized to, whether that is available on the cluster where my VM was actually provisioned. So we run this command, get az VM size, followed with the resource group name and the VM name. Yeah. So if we see our output again in this while running this command that okay, B1ms is available, then only we should go for the resizing process. And for that, we need to first uh, this command is required to retrieve the current VM information and then store it in a variable called, say, $VM. So in this, we are going to again run the command get-az VM size from this particular resource group, the container, and the VM, the existing VM, which we need to resize. So we will store that value in $VM, and then we would be able to finally run the remaining two commands, starting with uh, to modify the size attribute. We should again uh, initiate that and store it in this particular variable, that is $VM dot hardware profile dot VM size, and we are setting this up to standard underscore B1 ms. And once this new size has been specified using this particular command, then we can go ahead and run this command to update our existing VM to the new B1 ms size. And the verb to be used is update -az VM, and in the VM we just have to call that particular uh, variable that we had defined, where we had set the hardware profile to standard B1ms. So that is VM $VM, and again definitely we have to specify the resource group, the container name. Yeah, so this helps us to resize that virtual machine size to B1ms. And now the cost per hour, say in Indian rupees, from rupees 8.8 will come down to uh, close to somewhere around you know for one virtual CPU, and B1ms is one virtual CPU and just 2 GB RAM. It was, yeah, B1ms would be 2.20. Yeah, so let's go for, we want to stop the VM, we don't, if we don't want to use the VM all the time, we can always certainly stop it, and that also helps us to save on the recurring charge from Azure side. And the command is very simple. We just have to initiate this command starting with the verb stop -az VM, resource group name, which particular virtual machine name, and then specify the command force. And you remember I did mention that we can use the other optional switches in this, like stay provisioned. If we use the stay provisioned switch, then this would still stop the VM, but will keep the virtual machine allocated. And that means you will still have to pay for that particular virtual machine. Yeah, per hour you still need to pay for it. Azure will still be charging you. Yeah. So now, if you want to decommission a VM, then again it's pretty simple. Definitely we have to first stop the VM. The same command, stop AZ VM, resource group name, and which particular VM do we want to stop. Provide the name with a switch underscore hyphen force, followed with, and the moment we see that the VM has been stopped, then we can use this command, remove -az VM, followed with resource group name and the VM name hyphen force to stop, to remove it. And the only hassle, as we had discussed in the part one, is it will remove, but and that meaning it will delete the VM, but not the other resources associated with this VM, like the public IP address, network interface card, all that will still remain to exist. If you want to remove the entire VM resource group where this particular virtual machine and the other associated resources were stored, then you need to use this command, remove -az resource group, specify the name of the resource group, and then -force. But please remember, if you execute this PowerShell command, it will delete all the resources in this particular resource group. So be very careful if you're executing this. Yeah. So with great power comes great responsibility as well. Yes. So be careful. And now I hope you have recalled all the commands. Let's move on to the next section, and we will switch over to the Azure portal to see how we can now provision a new VM with a specific image and not just the default Windows 2016 data center version that it always comes if you don't specify it. Yeah. Hey, now on this Azure portal, let's again initiate and connect to the cloud PowerShell. Yeah. Sometimes it takes few seconds. Yeah, it is connected to the Cloud Shell. It is authenticating with our current Azure credentials. Yeah, so okay. Now, yeah, we did say that we will provision the VM with our specific image, unlike the default Windows 2016 data center that it selects. If we don't specify it, then how to do that? The process is pretty simple. Again, we have to take care of three things here. We have to ensure that first we have to find the publisher that we would like to use for that particular operating system that we want and that particular VM. And then we have to find the offer from that publisher that from that uh, say if it is Microsoft, then under Microsoft, how many variants of operating systems exist. And then from that particular offer, we have to select the SKU, which is the stock keeping unit, as you know in the inventory management. And the SKU could be Windows 2016 data center or say Windows 2012 data center. And why are we not going for Windows 2019 data center or Windows 2016 data center? Um, Default was Windows 2016. Why do you want to change it? It could be the requirement. There are few applications probably which will only run smoothly if it is installed on an operating system on a virtual machine which runs Windows 2012, not Windows 2016 or Windows 2019. In that case, yes, we have to select that particular image. Yeah, so in order to track down an image to deploy from, launch this as we have launched this PowerShell now. Uh, Use this particular command. Let's start with, you remember, right? The first step is find the publisher. Get AZ VM image publisher, and yes, which location. We love East US. We would find it here. Which all publishers are there available that we can use to create uh, to use that particular SKU. So see, there are so many options that we have. It's not just Microsoft Windows that we can deploy. We have Red Hat, we have Symantec, whatnot is available, Samsung, SAP. So right now we are looking for Microsoft Windows 2012 data center. So the publisher name that we have to use would definitely be Microsoft Windows Server, isn't it? Yes. This publisher is available in location East US. So the first command was get -az VM image publisher under this location. So now we know, sorry, Control Z. Now we know the publisher detail. Now we can use to refer the offer name. Now we have to find out the offer under that particular publisher. So again, under this location, East US. So we have to specify which publisher that we are trying to search for, the different offers under it. So the publisher name was Microsoft Windows Server, isn't it? Let's see how many different, we went wrong. Oh, we did not specify the value for location, which would be East US in our example. Okay, so under East US, under this publisher Microsoft Windows Server, we have some 6 offers as of today, which is 22nd April 2019. Remember, Microsoft or any other vendor keeps adding new offers, and that gets slowly added to the Azure platform. So right now we have some 6 offers here. We want to definitely go for the offer Windows Server. Under that, under this offer, we have to further now search that what all stock keeping unit, the OS exact version is available to be which we can call while provisioning the virtual machine. So for that, again, it's very simple. The verb is get is -az VM image. Now what is this? This is SKU, and again under location East US, and this time it is actually offer. Oh, sorry, we do have to specify the publisher name, Microsoft Windows Server, followed with offer, which is Windows Server. Yeah, let's see what all operating system images are available. Oh, there are many. And yeah, we know that Windows 2016 Data Center is the default choice whenever we are provisioning the VM, but we wanted to go for Windows 2012 Data Center, right? So we would select this particular, we will call this particular image when we are going to provision the VM. And I hope you remember the steps to provision VM. Pretty straightforward, just 3 steps. First one is we have to set up the resource group, isn't it? Which is nothing but the container where we would like this particular VM to be stored. Let's make it VM Rohit Lab and specify the location. Press enter. It will take a few seconds. So yes, the resource group has been set up. Let's check it. VM Rohit Lab has been set up in the location East US. Good. Now the second step was to store the credentials. We can always pass it as free text, but why to do that? Let's save it. Sometimes it's slow don't worry. Get credential. Now it will demand for what is the username that you want to use. Use the user ID and password that you generally use as per your corporate requirement. Now the last step is the actual verb to be used to provision the VM. Let's which is new -az VM as we have seen earlier, and then specify the resource group name, which is VM Rohit Lab, which we have just created. And remember, in order to pass on the next attribute in next line, we have to use this single apostrophe. Let's continue to use the other attributes like name of this particular VM. We had earlier used Rohit VM. Now we'll call it Rohit VM2. Oh, sorry, I was in hurry. I did not pass on the remaining attributes. Let's continue. Oh. Plus, I did a mistake. If you have noticed, I forgot to use the hyphen name here, isn't it? So now again, let's provide the location where we want this VM to be provisioned. Let's provide the virtual network name. Say my VNet. Let's provide the subnet name. Let's provide the security group name. I will definitely have other small video sessions on subnets, security group, virtual network. These are big topics, but yes, we will cover it separately in detail. Public IP address name, my public IP address. We would pass on the credential which we had stored in this particular variable, $cred. We will use the size as a standard B2ms. Now here we are going to use a new switch which will help us to specify the publisher name, specify the offer name, and then specify the SKU. Yeah, and this is important. So this is how we will get Windows 2012 installed on this VM, which would be named Rohit VM2, and it will be stored under the resource group VM Rohit Lab in the location East US. So this particular last switch, which is image name, is calling the publisher Microsoft Windows Server, the offer under this publisher, which was Windows Server, and then finally the SKU name available under this offer, which was 2012-data center, and we wanted the latest OS to be installed. There is no further command that we would like to provide. Sorry, there is no further switch that I would like to provide now. I'll just execute this. Now, as we remember, like last time, it shows us the real-time status as to which all resources are getting created. As we saw that there were few uh, resources that got set up. Let's see under Rohit VM Lab if that is the case here. The network security group has been set up. It would be easier to see it here. There are many things which have been set up already, which is network security group, the public IP address, the virtual network name, and now the virtual machine Rohit VM2 is being set up. And for it, the disk one is getting installed. So yeah, this would take a few minutes to have this particular VM available with the image Windows 2012 data center. Yeah, unlike last time which we had seen that if we don't provide this particular switch image name, it installs Windows 2016 data center. But if there is a need as per our contract, as per our customer requirement, application requirement that we need a different image, maybe a Linux also, then we definitely have to use the get az publisher command on to find out that for that particular location region, which all publishers are available, whether Red Hat is available in East US or say South India or Central India region. And if Red Hat is available, then under Red Hat, which all offers are available, like Red Hat Satellite or Red Hat Enterprise Linux. And then under that particular offer, which all SKUs are available, like Red Hat Enterprise version 7, 8, what all OS are available, it will be listed out there as the output, and that only you have to call in this particular switch as say probably Red Hat server, satellite, or and then that SKU name followed with definitely the latest, so that it is also available with all the latest patches on it. Yeah. So and you can see the real-time output under all resources in your portal on fly, that what all things have already been set up. Yes. Uh, Let me just pause this video if it takes very long to provision it. Yeah. Yes, now you can see that uh, it has already succeeded provisioning this particular new virtual machine Rohit VM2. Yeah. So yes, this particular virtual machine is ready. Let's go check by connecting to this new virtual machine. How does it look? Whether it really has the Windows 2012 OS or not. Very simple. Let's click on connect, download the RDP file, try to connect to it. Continue, provide the user ID and password that you had specified while passing on the value to the $cred. It helps you connect to it. Let's make it a little smaller so that it is within our recording area. First time login. Okay, here we see it's a Windows Server 2012 on a standard B2ms hardware profile size. Yeah. So this particular uh, tutorial video would definitely help you in installing an image of your choice, which is need of the customer when they are moving from their existing data center to Azure platform. Hope you found this tutorial useful. Uh, Feel free to pass on your comments and feedback in the YouTube or the LinkedIn comment area. And if you like it, do share it with all. Thank you. Bye-bye.